Okay, good morning, students. I hope yesterday who had attended the lab session for embedded, they had a fair bit idea of the ARM programming language software part, how we are how we are going to execute our program, and how we have to write the program into that software to check the output, right? So these are all the things which were present in the module 2. Okay, these were the things which was highlighted in this module 2. Coming to the module 3, we have this embedded system component, embedded versus general computing system, classification of embedded system, major application and purpose of embedded system, elements of an embedded system, block diagram explanation, differences between RISC and CISC, Harvard and Princeton, big and little Indian formats, memory formats, sensor actuators. So these are all of the applications. Okay, sensors, actuators, optocouplers, communication interfaces, I2C, SPI serial peripheral interface, IRDA, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Zigbee. Right. So these are the specifications of this module 3. Okay. So this will be there for your syllabus till this point you will be having. Okay. This assembly, see whether it is there or not. I will just check it. This is our module 2 part. Few examples I have taken. Nothing. Okay. Fine. So these are the topics which I have to cover. Now module 1 and module 2 was with respect to the text 1. Okay. Your textbook 1 was this one, Joseph, this one textbook, the definitive guide to the ARM Cortex M3. Right. Now from module 3, module 4 and module 5. Okay. So all these three modules will be from Shibu, right, which is nothing but your introduction to embedded system. So till now we were learning what is ARM processor, its instruction set and all those stuff. Okay. Now we have to understand what is an embedded system. Okay. So this module 2, module 3 and module 4 will be present in this textbook 2 Shibu KV. Right. So soft copy, if it is available, then you can collect it. I'm not still I'm searching the textbook. I have not yet found. Okay. So you start with this module 3, which is about embedded system. Okay. So what is an embedded system? So your processor, your interfacing with the peripherals. Right. So different peripherals we embed. Right. Like for the display thing, right? ATM machine, if I take, so that we call it as a embedded system, right? Washing machine, if I take, that we call it as a embedded system. Television, if I take, that I call it as a embedded system. Why? Because you have multiple inputs and you have multiple ways of the output, right? So outputs can be a display kind of a thing. Output can be a buzzer. Output can be a voice. Okay, output can be a voice. So these are the different peripherals which we are combined to make one application, and that is what we call in general term it as a embedded system. And here specifically we are calling it as a embedded system components. So what are the components we are going to observe? So how our architecture we are going to embed to the particular application. That is why in this syllabus you have seen that we are going to learn about peripherals like sensors, actuators. We will be learning about the Wi-Fi technology, Bluetooth technology, Zigbee technologies, right? So all these six we are going to embed to one application. Maybe your mobile phone, maybe your washing machine, maybe your laptop. So this we call it as a embedded system. Okay, almost it is most of the parts it is theory. There is nothing programming here. Only we need to understand the what is embedded system, what are the specification of embedded system, what are the features of an embedded system, how our architecture will be embedded to build an application, what are its features, right? So those six will be understanding here. What is the memory architecture for that one, right? What is the output of that one? So these are the things which we will be discussing as we have observed in the syllabus copy. So embedded system components, we will start first the introduction part. So what is an embedded system? An embedded system is an electronic electromechanical system designed to perform a specific function and is a combination of both hardware and firmware, or which we call it as a software. Right. Every embedded system is unique and the hardware as well as the firmware is highly specialized to the application domain. Right, so these are the things. We have two types. One we call it as a general evaluation mode and one is application evaluation mode. So general evaluation mode will be having all types of peripheral added as you have observed in the last year FPGA kit. Right. Now this year you are going to use LPC 1768 kit, which is your ARM kit which you are using for interfacing all your peripherals. Okay. So this is what he is trying to speak. It is an electronic and electromechanical. So your multiple hardware or software here combining to make one product. That is what it is meant by the embedded system. Embedded system versus general computing system. So the computing revolutionarily began with a general purpose computing requirement. Later it was realized that the general computing requirement are not sufficient for the embedded computing requirements. See, mobile phone was built for only calling purpose. Now, apart from calling purpose, we are doing everything using this mobile phone. Right. So to connect to your internet, there is a Wi-Fi dongle present. Right. There is a Ethernet cable present. Right. Wi-Fi hotspot. Everything it is present. But even there, the cost and the other things all based on those things. I am not using that one. I am going to use what? My mobile phone to connect to this one. So whatever the features, feature will be there, but the drawback also it will be there. Now whatever I am connecting my mobile phone internet to the device for a period of time, if I continuously use that, my device will get damaged. Right, my mobile phone also will get damaged. My laptop also will get damaged. So here particular application for a particular type of work. So television remote control is there. If remote control is not there, in mobile I will install an app and I am going to use. So how much power it is lost? So if I take a remote control, hardly it will be around 100 rupees. Right. So if I take buy a new remote, 100 rupees, it will can run for 6 months. But if I use mobile phone to act as a remote, then there is a problem to my mobile phone also. Right, so these are the things which will be present. So now what I'm trying to tell is that earlier computing they were designing for all kind of works with a single thing. Now what we are doing for everything we are segregating. As you can see in many of the mobile phones. Now you will not get any earphones. You have to buy separately earphones. Right? Why? Because now with the earphones there are multiple versions available for normal, for the loud speaking, for only communicating one way. So, n number of headphones are present now, right? So, that is why they don't want to sell that earphone in the mobile devices. So, you need to purchase it separately because now earphone itself they are making it as what's a unique device. Okay, it is not embedded into this part. The embedded computing requirements debate something special in terms of response to stimuli, meeting the computational deadlines like power efficiency, limited power capability, etc. So remote, what is a function? It will do only remote. Apart from that, it doesn't require any other memory and other stuff. Projector also same thing. But if I take a laptop, all kind of things I am going to run. That is a problem. If I take a refrigerator, it is only for the cooling purpose which I am going to use. If I take a washing machine, it will rotate the motor. That is the main functionality which it will do. Right. So these are the few examples which are there when comparing with your embedded system to a normal computing system. Right. So these are the differences you can find. Right, for general purpose computing and an embedded system. So this it will be the generalized form, and here it will be with respect to the specific application form. That is the only difference you can find. So which is fast, which is slower, which requires memory, which doesn't require memory, right? What is its high efficiency, whether this is good or that is good. So all the differences it has been displayed on the screen. So first we'll go with a general purpose computing system, a system which is a combination of a generic hardware and a general purpose operating system for executing a variety of application. So you can understand what is the meaning of a general purpose. Right? A system which is a combination of a special purpose hardware and embedded OS for executing a specific set of application. We call that as an embedded system. So for running your program and everything, you require FPGA kit or a processor kit. But for running a device, you have a mobile phone, you have a laptop, and all this we call it as a separate embedded device. Contains a general purpose operating system, may or may not contain an operating system for functioning. Because in the remote you don't require any OS. In projector you don't require any OS. Television set you don't require any OS. Washing machine you don't require any OS. Right? Washing machine it will require a controller to change the state, because every 10 minutes or 15 minutes it is going to change its speed, whether water inlet should be taken, whether water inlet should be stopped, whether it should rotate, whether drying sensors should be used. So for all the six sub processor required. So that is why he is telling may or may not contain. Okay, but television you don't require anything, it is not controllable. You are giving instruction and it will run on that part. Washing machine also same thing. Then you are going to rotate the speed, whether it is 0.5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those speeds will be present. But this is a comparison which is done with the general purpose computing system as well as the embedded system. Application are alterable, programmable, and the user it is possible for the end user to reinstall the operating system and also add or remove user application. So if I am having a general purpose type, so I can make use of that one for the new application, and I can use the same processor by changing the source code. So I will reinstall the source code. That processor can be built or worked as a different kind of a thing, right? But what about embedded system? Remote, if it is there, can you make that remote to work as a mobile phone? No. So it will do only its own task. Otherwise, it will not do. It's of no use. The firmware of the embedded system is pre-programmed and it is non-alterable by the end user. So there may be an exception for system supporting OS kernel image flashing through special hardware settings, right? So at the end user, you cannot able to change, but you can change, because we can observe that mobile phone they will purchase. Okay, if I want to go for buying a new mobile phone in the apps like Amazon or Flipkart, so they will take for an exchange. So for exchange they will reduce around 5,000 rupees or any amount they will be reducing. So why they are taking your device? So your device they will take, they will alter, and they will again sell to you as a new product. Okay, the processor will be retained as it is. That is the meaning what he is trying to tell. But at the end user, it is very difficult to do it. Okay. Performance is a key deciding factor in the selection of the system. Always faster is better. Application specific requirements like performance, power requirements, memory usage are the key deciding factor. So if I take application specific, so we call it as a specialist, right? In cricket also you better observe that there is a batsman, there is a bowler, and in between if there is a all-rounder, so neither is good in completely batting, neither is good in completely bowling, because there are specialists required. In 2020 cricket or a ODI cricket, you don't require a specialist because 50 overs or 20 overs it will go. But you take up test cricket, you require a specialist batsman. You require a specialist bowler to bowl so many overs in a day. So that is a huge task. So here also it depends on how performance you are expecting. That is why I was given an example of a remote. So if I buy a remote for the television set with two shells, so with the two shells, I can sustain for 6 to 8 months. Right? So it is doing only that work. It is not doing so many other tasks. So its performance is very high. If mobile phone I am using to operate as a remote, so if suddenly call comes, neither I am into remote part, neither I am into the calling part. So that is the thing which will be present. So less or not at all tailored towards reduce operating power requirements, because n number of peripherals there means what? It will consume more power. If there is only a specific type, your power consumption will be very less. That is why that remote it will take longer duration of time to detain, right? Response requirement are not time critical. So here they will not expect any results at a fast rate. But here it is expecting at very fast rate. That is why earlier they were having yearly exam, right? Maybe during your lower semesters, not semesters, during your 10th PU, everything, it was only year wise. But now you see education system, it is all semester wise. So 3 months study, give examination, go to the even sem for the next sem. So it is a semester system which has been created, not yearly system. So it is all after the examination. If I had failed, so within 50 days, I'm going to take one more re-exam. So within 15 days, another 1 month, I'll be having a result. In the next semester, I will be joining again without any backlogs. That we call it as a fast track examination. That is still not implemented for VTU, right? But it is present in the autonomous system. Fast track exam they will call. If they are failed in that fast track, then what happens? Then they have to write that examination with their juniors. That is a problem there. But here in VTU, if I fail this semester, next semester I can write. So again, if I fail in that semester, next semester I can write. So in 1 year I am writing 2 times. But in autonomous, in 1 year you are going to write only 1 time. Again you will be writing that exam with your juniors. That is a drawback which you can find here, right? So these are all telling about what is the importance of the time. Embedded system, it is of the timing only. If I make a call, if it is corrected within 5 minutes, then it is useful. If it is able to correct after half an hour, so I will also forget, they will also forget what information I am transmitting. That is a problem which you can find here. Need not be deterministic in execution behavior. Execution behavior is deterministic. Means what? If this is there, if input is there, perform next task. Perform next task. So there is some flow there. That is why they call it as a hard real-time system. So for every data, there is a specific output which is been designed. But in this general computing, if input give, output will come or output will not come, that is not dependent. Okay, that should not be the case. So these are the comparison between your general purpose computing and your embedded system computing. So how this embedded system evolved, right? The history of embedded system, why it has become very important now. Every type it was having a separate, right? Earlier they used to have for all the things only one, right? Like mobile phone it was there. So mobile phone it will be used for calling purpose, mobile phone used for mobile messaging purpose, mobile phone used for video calling, everything mobile phone, right? Now what is happening? There is a separate, like for video calls there will be their video call with you, but again video calls like Skype app, like Teams video calling is there, like WhatsApp video calling is there, like Facebook video calling is there, right? We have FaceTime video calling facilities. So you have multiple apps which has been generated for that specific application. So here for I have given an example. So there is a specific different types of earphones available. There is a different types of chargers available. There are a different types of, because laptop also you take, they will tell home version, office version, right? Gaming version. Why they are different? Because they are specified for that particular role, right? That is why you require a specialist of that type. Okay. So embedded system were in existence even before the IT revolution, built around an old vacuum tube and a transistor technology. The first recognized modern embedded system is the Apollo guidance computer. Developed by MIT, it had 36 kilowords and a fixed memory of 2K words. The clock frequency of that one is this one. The first mass produced of embedded system was Autonetics D17 guidance computer for a minute one missile in 1961. It was built using discrete transistor logic and a hard disk for memory for the main memory. The first integrated circuit was produced in 1958 and computers were using by began to appear in 1963. So everybody knows what is the history of a computer. So when it started, what was the size of the computer, how the memory looks. Now we will share the or we will share the messages of 1 kilo or 1 GB of data, how much it was there. Big building they were carrying the 1 GB of data. Now 1 terabyte of data it will be in your palm size, right? So those are the things which is generally present. All it is general information, everything you might have known with respect to a microcontroller, but now we are speaking specifically with the help specific related to the embedded system. So classification of embedded system, it is based on generation. So you might not be knowing first generation, two generation, three generation, four generation. Complexity and performance requirement based on deterministic behavior based on triggering. Right. So these are your general classification of an embedded system. So in detail we will be learning about this. So all those, what is first generation, what is second generation, what is third, what is fourth, and what is next generation. So first generation, it was using AMPS, AMPS, amplitude modulation packet switching, right? So it was connected to one devices, right? Speed was very limited, right? So those are all features. No video calling, no messaging, and all those stuff, right? So second generation, they introduced the voice over IP. Third generation, video, right? Fourth generation, so all it is with respect to the web. Now next generation is what? Everything it will be connected to the cloud, right? So all your data, memory, there is no nothing like a device type. It is all with respect to the cloud. Cloud, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So these are the topics which will be ruling for the another 10 to 15 years. I am telling only 10 to 15 years because you may get still newborn topics, right? Newborn domains which will be very higher compared to this, right? We cannot expect all those things. That is why I said these are the important topics which you should learn it. Machine learning, artificial neural network, AI, artificial intelligence. So these are all trending technologies which we should be aware of. So first generation you can see early embedded system were for 8-bit processor 8085, See, this 8085 is there, no? This there was a lab for me when I was doing my engineering. So this lab was there for me during the year 2005. So 2005 I was in around third sem or fourth semester. I had this lab. So what is a lab here? So now you are writing what programs. So how you are writing programs? You are writing a code like boo. 1 second. You are writing boo r dot comma r1. So like this you are giving a command. Now in this 8085 what was the thing this boo will be having a pseudo code. Okay, like say boo value will be 80 like ASCII values. ASCII value 80C. Okay, so this value I would have written. So in my code instead of writing boo r0 comma r1 I would have written 80C r0 r1. So they will give us the opcode instruction code. So they will write 80 represent MUSI, 80D represent move are not with hash value. So this opcode pseudocode was used to implement the program. That architecture was present in 8085. So now all we have moved on. So we will write directly the high level language, the compiler, the hardware. It will convert your program to that low level language and it will be executed. Example of first generation is your digital telephone keypad, stepper motor control. Okay. Okay. So digital telephone keypad. So now at homes, you will not find any telephones, right? Where you will be having that keys pressed. Earlier to this one, we were rotating it. Okay. We were rotating like this. So 0, 4, 2, like that. But that phones, now if you go and search also, it will be not available. Few people, they will be kept as it is. If they kept it with, so it will be a unique thing because now nobody will have those kind of a thing. Now that device for one home, one device was there. Right now, one home, if four people are there, you require four devices. It's four mobile phones for each of them one. Earlier it was only one. For how many members if it was there? For everyone they have to use only one. But it is now it is what? Different. For everyone there is a unique thing. That is was I was highlighting. For every one thing now you have a separate device. Okay. This is with respect to the first generation. Second generation they introduced for the 16-bit much complex example data acquisition SCADA system, etc. So again, I don't want to repeat all the things again here. One second. One second. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so we'll continue. So in my second generation, you can observe that 8-bit increased to 16-bit. Reason why they shifted to 16-bit processor? Because more number of devices were present, so they wanted to enhance to that part. Okay, so this is about second. Many people know what is second generation, third generation, and other stuff. So it is just revising a kind of a thing. So third generation embedded imported right. Then we have a DSP processor. We have a ASICs. ASICs are nothing but your application specific integrated ICs. Right? So instruction came, embedded system spreading. So now everything it is of only ease of use. Now there is no complexity. So how much big the task will be there? Everyone it should be easy for processing the things. So fourth generation, you are going to have this system on chip, right? So we have this smartphone devices, we have this mobile internet devices, right? So everybody knows how we have to use because all of you are using only smartphones. Now 90% of the population will be using your smartphones only. Only around 8 or 10% still they are into that keypad type of a mobile phone. Slowly again it will also change. Okay, because there won't be any production. That is why that is not valid. So the processor and embedded market, why it is this like this? Because older devices, if it gets damaged, obviously it will get damaged, and there is nobody to repair to that part. So if you go and tell that display is not working, so display only to display, they will tell that it is around 3000 rupees. Another 2000 if I had, I'll get a new mobile phone. So everybody is thinking it that way because the cost, the production is very huge. Okay, that is the reason every time we are going to go for a new product. Okay, the company itself will do. It will buy your old products, it will resell the or it will sell the new product at a cheaper rate. Why? Because they want you to use that. And once you start using that one, so next product when they will release, the cost will be very high. That is the tactics which they employ. Right. Then we have small scale embedded system, medium scale embedded system, large scale embedded system. For different application, we have different. Like we have a remote, like we have a washing machine, because there are all different types of application. Right. So example, an electronic toy. So if I take a toy, what happens? It will just rotate, move left, move right, up, down. So that is nothing but a small scale embedded system. Medium scale, some complex thing. Like if I take a toy of mobile toy, right? So it will be having, if I press one, you'll get a music of one kind. If I press two, I will get one more kind. If I change the mode for the same one, I'm going to get a animal sound. For two, I'm going to get some another sound, right? So that is nothing but a medium scale embedded system. So small program. You can take this LED glowing. So if I change the program, so for few seconds it will be on, for few seconds it will be off. So I can make it as on off on off on off. Right? I can make one design. So usually the what we call this festival types, they will put this glittering LEDs, right? Where you have a different pattern. So those are all nothing but a medium scale embedded system. So large scale embedded system, it is just like your mobile phone, device, laptop, and all those stuff. So all it is generalized one. So that is why I am moving little bit fast. Right? Classification based on deterministic. So deterministic means was particular application for that particular type. Right? Hardware related type and the software related type. So based on triggering, event triggering. So I said washing machine. So every 5-10 minutes, first it should rotate at a speed of 6800. Next, it should rotate at a speed of 4000 in a reverse direction. So for everything, it is a time triggering. For your session also, in the television also, you can do that. So if I am out of station, but my favorite episode it is coming, so I will instruct my television to record that particular session. So from my mobile device only, I can record that particular. Now nobody is doing. If whenever I want, I will go to that particular channel or Hotstar. I will go. So I will go back. I will check the set the time, and I can once again no, I can see that episode once again in my period, in my time, in my free time, I can use that one. That is why we call it as a classification based on triggering. So major application areas of embedded system are consumer electronics, household appliances, home automation, automotive industries, and telecom. So these are all the examples you can find. I am not reading it. You can observe it and you can see it. What are the different applications you can find here? Computer peripherals, computer networking system, healthcare, right? So healthcare, where is a embedded system? Your ECG machine, your scanning machine, your MRI scanning, your EEG, right? So all it requires embedded system. Banking and retail, card readers, everything you can see here. Purpose of embedded system: data collection, storage, representation, data communication, data processing, monitoring, control, application specific user interface. So these are your purpose of your embedded, because there should be some purpose why you are building an embedded system. What is the output, right? So these are the output. So with that data, what you can do, you can study, right? That is what they will do in the app. So if I open my app, if I opening this Flipkart or Amazon, so it will check what is the search I have done, and based on that requirement, he will provide all the details. One second. Okay. Right. So your data can be utilized for search engines, right? So I have search mobile phone. Next time when I log in, it will tell that these are the things. One second. Sorry for the interference. So it was almost time. So next we'll be discussing about this purpose of embedded system in the coming session. Okay, so I'll download the attendance. So tomorrow who is having lab, kindly install the software into your laptops or desktops. If you are not having laptop or desktops, it's fine. Those who are having, at least they need to install it. Okay, thank you.